give it such care, nurture it so much that it is on the path to achieve its full potential. And business incubators do that function. At least they say they're trying to do this. Think for a moment that you had a very nice, successful executive career. And then during your work life, you came up with a conviction that there is a better way to do something which is currently being done. So you will innovate. This is one of the primary features in business incubator. Somebody comes up with a innovation, and then that innovation becomes like a fertilized egg, which needs to be incubated so that it hatches, so that it grows and becomes the fullest of the species. I hope this basic is clear. To be very sure, today the orientation is shifting from pre-COVID day priority in life after the COVID. Earlier, people were only interested in the preferred classical pathways to life. Get education, get a job, get married, bring up a family, take care of the family. That used to be there. After COVID, what has happened is people are consciously thinking, what is my life for? What should I achieve? And this change is more a situation where we need business incubation. So we will talk more about this one. My answer to you is, in the current situation, this is the in thing, very desirable thing, and we have to pay a lot of attention. We have to invest whatever we can at our individual level and at the society level, government level, political level. So multi-layered situation. That is the business incubator today for you.
So according to you, Professor Saran, business incubator is required and it's an in thing today. Now, if suppose a lay person or a businessman or a institution or a company would like to start the business incubator, is it possible, or it is restricted only to some specific areas or some specific specialty? Those only can start the business incubator.
In today's situation, the answer is there are absolutely no restrictions at all. So individuals can start it, private companies can start it, public sector companies can start it, government can start it, non-profit organization can start it. And I'm happy to tell you that it is not they can start, they have started. And as is the law of nature, nobody has monopoly on this one. It is not that the individuals have taken the lead in business incubator creation and running them. There are very good examples in all of the area. Some of the government incubators are doing very well in certain kind of institutions, and some of the private ones are doing very well. So this is happy news for us. Anybody can start it. Whosoever has the will and whosoever has the commitment and whosoever can have the ability to organize all the parts which a incubator has. There also there is a range. We will talk of that more as we go.
Okay. Now, how many types of business incubators are
there? I will like to modify your question. Instead of directly going to how many types of business incubators are there, let us drop the adjective business and say how many types of incubators are there. The 4 types of incubators are there as of today, and the oldest one is very ancient, The first incubator was created in the year 1880. So you see how old it is. That was a incubator in human domain. Some premature birth do take place, like the fetus is delivered in 6th month, 7th month, 8th month. They have very little chance of survival. So the baby incubator, infant incubator is one type. Then the medical profession or health profession developed bacteriobiological incubators. The third one, which is of commercial value, is poultry incubators. So fertilized eggs are put there. They are nurtured for certain days under certain conditions. We'll come to these, what lessons they have for us as business incubators. So that is the third type of popular incubator. The fourth type is the business incubator. Within business incubator, there are two main types that we must remember. One is tech business incubators. We can call them TBIs, tech business incubators. Very important category today. And they are the ones which brought business incubators into limelight over the last 15, 20 years. The second one is other business incubators. We club everything other than tech business into the other type. To make the matter simple and easy to understand for our viewers, tech is more or less a synonym for computer hardware, software, devices, components. Computing is the actual domain for tech business in one form or the other. There is a wide range of variety. So these are the two types of business incubators as of today.
Now, as you have mentioned about the incubator, somewhat you mentioned that it's quite old thing, but that incubator has is nothing to do with the business. That incubator is about the medical thing, which we know for the premature baby, etc. But we would like to know about the history of business incubator. Can you highlight it?
Now, I definitely will love to highlight it. And let us begin with defining the history itself. And the history is, for your case, let us say, does your history start with yourself? Does your history start with your parents? Does your history start with much beyond that? I assume we must take a proper context, and I have a reason for this. If I find that the kind of things your great-grandfather did has great impact in shaping who you are today, then I will be making a mistake by starting your history at your day of birth. Because then I will get only partial view who you are and why you are who you are. So in this sense, now that you are asking me for history of business incubators, let us first go and look at this business incubator. As we defined, it is one which takes an innovative solution by individual or group of individuals or even a business house, and then creates conditions in which it attains its full potential. It gets ready for its full potential. Okay. Now, the history of business incubator is very recent. With the advent of the transistors in 1948, we developed a world of solid state devices, and this has come. So the most of the famous business incubators are less than 2 generations old, and most of them are even less than a generation old. The business incubator, as we know today, if we want to trace the history, as I said, the complete history begins from the day first human incubator was created. And recent is 21st century phenomena. You can say it started with the famous dot bubble burst. Internet companies started coming in big drops and numbers in the year mid-90s and later. And then they felt, some people came up with the concept, it is possible to provide this service, business incubation, and create miracles in the world of new business formation. So this is, in short, in the history. We'll talk more of it as the time comes. This is the history.
Okay, but what I could gather now is the business incubator is where they provide that type of knowledge. They impart the knowledge to the businessman or the entrepreneur. They give the they try to create the infrastructure, required infrastructure, as well as they give means they give the complete conducive atmosphere for a successful business. Don't you think that it was earlier also when even when Chanakya time, when Chanakya has come out with his famous theory about the Arthashastra or the economics, at that time also he wanted to impart the knowledge in that way. So what is the difference at that time and now?
Very interesting question. I am very happy and excited to take this question. When you mention Chanakya, then he was discovering the fundamental principles of creating wealth. And because Chanakya was one of the pioneers, so many, almost 2000 years ago, of course, the body of knowledge was finite. Within that, Chanakya did miracles. When the Renaissance came in the 12th century, a man picked up from the rough theories of economics given by Chanakya and Kautilya. That is what he was actually formally known as. So this man did it very much in tradition of Renaissance. He picked up a scientific way and he sat down and wrote a masterpiece. In that one, he says, if you want to create wealth, you need 4 factors of production. And that is how value is created. More than that, the beautiful lesson which this man gave, his name was Adam Smith, in case you want to know. Adam Smith published his important book, An Inquiry into Nature and Causes of Wealth of Nations. And there he said, the factors of production are there, but most important is division of labor, a specialization. So in the ancient time, the division of labor was limited in Chanakya's time. So business incubation did happen in those days also. The patrons used to be there. The zamindars will be the patrons of new business. The famous Seth of the kingdom will be patron. King himself will be the patron. They used to be there. So seeds were sown in those days for business incubation, which we see today. Adam Smith gave it momentum. And the invention of the latest technologies of the 20th century set it on a still faster growth, challenges multiplied, and people felt respecting Adam Smith. Now we need a very specialized kind of entity to perform this very specialized function, set of functions, and they call it. That is the reason why I told you in the beginning, I'm excited. We are talking about business incubation. The nicety, the sophistication slowly we'll get into as we progress in our conversation today. That's the background. You are right.
Okay. Now, you mentioned that this business incubators are basically got momentum recently after the dot-com bust, and now people are understanding that we should create some business incubator so that this type of things should not be repeated. These types of bust should not be repeated. So what makes business incubator attractive to startups? Because right now it's the time of startups. When we talk about startups, a person who is having something, he just visualize something, he feels that he or she feels that we can do such type of business. It's an idea, but how to execute that idea, what are the things required, the infrastructure, the necessary funding, etc., etc. So my 2-point question, one is whether the startup requires the business incubators. One, if yes, then what is more attractive for the startups? Why they should go for the business incubator? Why not they develop their own ideas?
The entrepreneur has the responsibility to nurture his business idea, to nurture his innovation. Let us have this as a starting point. There is nothing which absolves the entrepreneur from this responsibility, incubator or no incubator. What I'm trying to emphasize here is, let the entrepreneur not think that since business incubator is there, I have joined a business incubator, now success is guaranteed and I take the back seat. No, that is not the impression I want to give you. All the fantastic benefits which attract an entrepreneur to business incubators, none of them is big enough to substitute the founder, the startup initiator. Having said this one, now it also is important that we carefully select that business incubator from all of them available to me, which is best for me. And nobody knows better than myself who is going to be there. The point here is, every incubator specializes, as I said in my last answer. Which specialization does a particular entrepreneur needs is part of his factor of production, which Adam Smith named called enterprise. This connection must be very important. Now, there is, like in a hotel, you go, the waiter gives you a menu card. Similarly, you go to a business incubator, the business incubator serves you. These are our services. Then you make your due diligence, know that which service is famous. Some restaurants are famous for the starters they serve. Some restaurants are famous for main course they serve. Some are famous for a particular style of cuisine, 3-course, 4-course, 5-course cuisine. This is the sophistication, Mr. Goel, where the entrepreneur must see the attractiveness is relative. One man's food is another's poison, which means that business incubator in general is definitely a recommended entity to go to. But having said that, let us discuss a little bit more in detail. What are we talking here? Because we are talking about attractiveness. I hope we can get into some detail. Let us get into the first one.
Okay.
You want to say?
No, please go ahead.
Okay. Now, first and foremost, the service which an incubator provides is that your vulnerabilities are told to you. Suppose an egg could talk, the hen's egg could talk, Then the incubator will say, take care of your turning in 24 hours. You must turn 360 degree every hour. Otherwise, you won't grow into a healthy chick. Some may say that maintain the temperature in the middle, not on the low end or the high end. Only then it will grow into healthy chick. So similarly, what attracts is the maturity, the richness of the business incubator and the entrepreneur and the rapport which they have. The degree of rapport they build together is the biggest attraction. You understand why I'm saying that. Now, next one is some of the advertising agencies serve limited services to you. They'll do market research, find out how many people, consumers are aware of your product and company, and then how to make them more aware. And then they design the advertisement, and then they say, this is all we will do. There are other ones which do full service. We call it integrated communication advertising agency. They will begin from brand name research to the product design, to packaging design, to communication, to channel communication, to the recycling, because today people have become environmentally conscious. They will buy the media for you. They will do everything. You just pay them money and forget. Some of the incubators are like that. You come with your innovation, they will say, first 3 months you will do this. Next 3 months you will do this. Next 3 months you will do this. This will be the digital marketing. This will be the social marketing within digital marketing. They have a number of experts, and we have them here in India as well as in Silicon Valley, where I go as Tirth Yatra to learn more about this one of business incubation. So what we are saying here is, what makes it attractive is the potential for the rapport between the founder on one hand and the owner or the CEO or the main person who is running the business incubator. Why it is important is a small mistakes here make large damages in the future. I will give you, I want this point very well understand, so I want to give you an example. In NCC, if you were there, you are taken for a camp. When you go for a camp, you have an activity called shooting. So you are given a rifle and target is put at a distance of 25 meters. Then for higher challenge, it is put at 50 meters. For higher challenge, it is put as 100. This is where the incubator founder relationship becomes important. If you are like that NCC candidate whose target is 25 meters, and if you mispoint your rifle fly to the target by 1 degree or 2 degree, you will still hit the target somewhere, outer circles. But if the target is 50 feet, the same degree of variation will make your bullet miss the target completely. So this is what is the attractiveness point. The two together must have communication, because, after all, business is people. So incubator may say something and the founder may not, buy it. Their communication depth is missing. So this is the second thing, that rapport through communication must be such that they attract the right one, so that they can choose the right services for right time. It is a very sophisticated kind of symphony in which different pieces of orchestra. It's sophisticated topics. So allow me to just mention this one. Every day Zakir Hussain does not play a mesmerizing beat. Every day Pandit Ravi Shankar did not play sitar in a mesmerizing way. So every incubator, every finder does not do it every day. Point here is, remember why we are incubating. We are incubating because each idea is a miracle. Each baby can become Einstein. each baby can become a Jefferson, each baby can become Alexander, each baby can become Lal Goel. So therefore, it becomes important that both the business founder and the incubator owner come together with that spirit. Together, they are producing conditions of the baby that biologically, psychologically, economically, it is going to achieve its 100%, not less. This whole understanding makes incubators attractive to founders.
Okay. You have given a good and detailed answer for this. Now my question is, when so many incubators are available in the market, in different private sector, public sector, government sector, how a founder or an entrepreneur choose the best business incubator for his own business or his entrepreneur or a startup? Because as you mentioned, that the equation or symphony is good among the founder and the incubator, but how to choose it, that whether this will work or that will work? Everyone gives their own proposals that we will do these jobs. How the entrepreneur will decide which I have to take?
Very practical question. I'm happy you have asked. I'm sure many of our viewers are interested. So here, two methods work. One is my first-hand knowledge about certain incubators. In that case, you see, it is like two families knowing each other, and they are likely to choose the spouse for their son and daughter. That is one situation. That is the rare one, but it happens. Most commonly, what will happen is the boy is in one family and the girl is in some unknown family. So therefore, different ways of arranging marriage used to be there. Let us take those examples. The village setting, rural setting, the Purohit will be there, the Pandit will be there, the barber, the Nai will be there. So such people are there. They make recommendations. These are influencers. They are on the social media. They are also there. Banks may tell you who are the good incubators. So take vendors, for example, companies like Microsoft, they themselves run their own incubator. They will tell you, and so on, so forth, they will do. Most of the founders have their own informal or formal organization, like the Indus Entrepreneurs Tie, T_IE, in different cities there. So they will tell you what incubators are there. So you see, these common platforms are there where the two come and do the matchmaking, right? Finally, what is there? You go to college, you went for a different purpose, and then you found your life partner there. So some people join some entrepreneurship development programs, and there someday some incubator, some investor appears, and that investor tells about incubator, or incubator himself or herself has this service. So they talk, and this is how the match is made. So these are the different broad ways. We'll talk more of this as we go along today.
Okay. What do top business incubators have which others lack? Because we have seen that top incubators have everything, including the seed money, which others might not be having. So what are the main reasons? What are the other features which they have, which the small incubators are not having?
Very valuable question, Mr. Goel. Our viewers should know the answer if they don't know it already. Some of your viewers may know many of the answers we are giving, but some they may not know. So in the hope that they don't know, we are providing this knowledge leadership, thought leadership. There are single specialty top incubators. So the one which is based in angel financing expertise, that one is there. The cloud technology optimization, that may be a specialty of another business incubator. Product market fit creation can be a specialty of the third incubator. So these are there. The business incubator promoters, the people have their vision, have their mission, so they decide early what they will start, what they will remain. So this is the first thing. The top ones were by specialization. They provide technology help, they provide financing help, they provide business model design help, they specialize in user experience optimization help, they may provide your website development and branding help. So that is one. Depends upon your need, depends on your situation. As a founder, you choose the top. These are the top. Then there are full service business incubators. So if they're in tech domain, they are on one type. Those specializations are there and their names are known. Moreover, today we have some very respected ranking systems. For example, Fortune 500 companies are there. So Fortune runs this ranking service, collects data from those who want to be ranked, and then they do the analysis, they give weighting, the methodology is there, they disclose it, and they rank it. So the top ones are there. But what is most important, my answer, and your viewers must notice is this. They must notice this. There are some of the top incubators, means the services they provide are not available anywhere else, be it investment support or be it business model design support. These are the two most important supports which incubators provide. And they do not want to be famous. That is not their objective, because they have decided to remain a very selective organization. These top business incubators are actually what I want through our thought leadership to percolate among our viewers. And that is, the top ones are not necessarily most popular ones, most widely known ones. I am surprised that during my personal research last year, from November, December, showed up many of the companies which don't advertise on internet, they don't advertise on Google, they don't advertise anywhere. They rely totally on personal initiative of the startup founder to find them. They believe that unless somebody is discreet, unless somebody is seeking, he should not find. In fact, they camouflage their existence. If you met them and told them, do you do business incubating? Chances are they say, no, some of our friends do, we don't do. They actually discourage you to find them. What they are doing, operating on is these top business incubators. And incidentally, Dr. Sharan Consulting, California, believes in that philosophy, because in capital conservation, if the common people find you, you are suboptimally deployed. But if an idea is like Steve Jobs, then he finds just one investor on his initiative and they don't look back. The business model also is built by the same person who put his capital. So here, let me mention this one. At Dr. Sharan Consulting, California, we have a pre-qualification test. Those who will approach us to be incubated, they will go through the test, and only if they are the top 1% of the potential founders, then they get acceptance. And then one thing is guaranteed. That once they are accepted, they will bring the best business idea, and we will provide the best business management competency. Just like the hen gives half of the chromosome, the founder gives the half the chromosome, just as the father gives other half of the chromosome, we provide that business management chromosome, and together it is the healthiest of healthy embryos through our nurturing process. We will limit to 3 to 4 founders accepted every year, whereas some top begin with as many as 28 or even 50 new startups. Many of them drop off, don't become anything. Only few of them become there. We have limited resources, and our conviction is we'll take few, but make all of them, achieve their fullest potential. So the two types of top incubators fall into the selective ones and the other ones, but they share one thing. From years of knowledge, mine proceeds to 1984, as you said in the experience. So our experience, knowledge, scientific bend of mind to experiment and accept things has what made us the top of the top in the universe of business incubation. This is how the top ones are there. This is why they are top.
Okay. Recently, we have seen in India this year, otherwise it was quite popular in other countries, especially in USA, a show called Shark Tank, which listened where that some top business persons were sitting together, and the entrepreneur is presenting his vision or his idea, and then and there, if they decide that this idea can click, they said, okay, here is the seed money of 5 lakhs, 50 lakhs, 1 crore, 5 crore, whatsoever amount, and we want so much share. Now, do you think these types, and this thing was followed now by the Delhi government, Delhi state government, Kejriwal's government, they are also doing that. They are inviting the students of 10th or 12th standard. They are asking them to come out with the new ideas. And then if the ideas are good, then the Delhi government is financing that idea so that the business entrepreneur, the job creators can be created instead of job seekers. Do you think this type of shortcut, because it's not, they are not incubating, they are just funding, will be helpful to the businessman, or it should be completely incubated, then only the money should be given? What do you say about this, Professor Saran?
It is very true. I agree with you. All previous founders and all service incubators must remain serious and do the things which are proper. Having said this, the Shark Tank is very interesting phenomenon. I will talk about this. And Mr. Kejriwal's initiative in his schools is also very interesting thing. We will talk about this one. So one thing at a time. Remember that the Shark Tank is a reality show genre of programming on popular entertainment channels. It is started from America and has been picked up by India also. So we have Shark Tank India now. Remember here, it is more for drama than for real world. We must not forget that reality show is a particular kind of programming. Nothing more, nothing less. Those who confuse it for the real thing will pay for it. The reason why I'm mentioning is in American Shark Tank, time after time, we have found that those who have been rejected have been a spectacular success. What does it say about those 7 investors who are sitting there? Do they have very sound method of predicting success? No, they do not have. And if you do not know which egg is fertilized, which egg has healthy chromosomes, how will you ever make it into a healthy chick? At incubator, mark my words, Mr. Goel, take the simple thing like temperature. I'm using this one to tell why Shark Tank kind of a thing must be taken with a healthy spoonful of salt. I'm trying to explain that one here now. You see, there is a room in which incubator will be kept. So room temperature will be there. Then incubator has a heating cooling system. You put a thermometer there that will tell the incubator temperature. And then the egg itself is an entity. If you put a thermometer to the egg, it will have a temperature. There are 3 temperatures operating, and there will be dynamic interaction between the 3. It is possible that the egg may be cold while the incubator is at the optimal temperature. If the egg is cold and you want to try to raise its temperature, say by 5 degrees, you have only 2 choices. Raise the incubator temperature directly to impact the egg, or raise the room temperature to indirectly impact the egg. Shark Tank are the kind of things where these interactions are overlooked or taken for granted. Either of them are a mistake. So let us be very careful. Yes, certain benefits come from this reality show, but no serious entrepreneur, in my view, ever should want to build his own business by the momentum, by the resources provided by the reality show. I do not think any serious venture ever gets created by that route. I may be wrong in certain cases, but remember, a great English poet said that exceptions prove the rule. Now, having said that, going to the Mr. Kejriwal case, that is a commendable initiative, the way they are doing it. They are doing it in a very rational way that, Mr. Goel, they give only 2,000 rupees each student. With this total corpus, you try to build it. And I was looking at some report on their results from that initiative. I am impressed. In a country which has been more feudalistic in its convictions, where in our last thought leadership, we did mention that business is not the top profession, unlike in capitalist America, where business is the most respected profession. This one does that service, that function it provides. And some of the students, because they are motivated so early, you mentioned in class 10, 12, they are captured. Similarly, in Kendriya Vidyalaya, in the name of respected politician Atal Bihari Ji, they have an Atal Incubation Initiative. That is one of the top in its domain. Very respected, very serious work they are doing. God bless them. So this is what is important. These are their contribution. I also pointed out the pitfalls for the younger viewers particularly. It may be glamorous, but business is more than glamour, my friend. Not every business is glamour. So this is it.
Okay. Although the Shark Tank report, few of the businesses where they are doing the marketing, direct marketing, like pickles, etc. It was reported that when they appeared on the show, where the brand became so popular that they got orders. Whether this will be sustained in future or not, that we don't know. But momentarily, those who are running the show already, running the business already, they got a boost up. But let's see, as you rightly say, it's too early to say because many those who have been rejected, they become popular, and those who have been giving funding, we don't know what is going to happen to them. Anyway, thank you, Professor Sharan, for giving this clarification, because what happens, people feel that now we will wait for the next edition and once we will present. And some people feel that what ideas we are showing to the public at large, many others will take these ideas and then they will come before them, and what will happen to their business. So there are plus and minus points. Now my question to you is, what is a tech is incubator?
This is a very super specialized kind of incubator. Take it like this. If you wanted to be a doctor, first and foremost, you must get a MBBS degree. Then you can practice as a general physician. So those are business incubators. Then what happens is, you want to specialize into particular organ. In organ donation, you are very familiar. Different organs have different appeal to doctors. Depending upon your personal preference, suppose you want to specialize in brain surgery. So you must first get a master's in surgery and then get a super master's in brain surgery. 3 levels of specialization is there. So most of the tech business entrepreneurs are definitely more than MBBS level of expertise. They are at the specific function, whether medicine or surgery level. So they decided, no, not only medicine, we will go for only surgery. That is specialization. And then technology today is very complex. In my early days, when I went to IIM for my MBA in 78, technology meant the machinery which is there in the factory. Paper technology, where I joined in JK Paper Mills. It used to be imported from a country called Germany because they, management Singhanias believed that is the best place to go. That was technology. Today, after the revolution caused by a couple of people in the Silicon Valley in America, tech means anything related to computing. Hardware, software, any of these two fields is tech. So the tech business ones are related to that one. And now within the brain, suppose some doctor want to specialize in seizure treatment. So somebody suffers a blood clot in the brain and a seizure resulted, and now we want to recover as much of healthy functioning of the brain possible, that gentleman. So these are the ones. Innovationincubator.com is one such example. And they specialize in 3 things. Similarly, these are the tech business incubators. They invariably will be talking about some kind of app, whether it is in healthcare domain or retail domain or supply chain domain or in any sub-specific field of life. But this is the character of tech business incubators. They are very savvy in computing. And today computing means deep learning, machine learning, artificial intelligence, so on, so forth. So these ones are multi-billion-dollar verticals by themselves, and tech business incubators focus on these entrepreneurs, founders, and support them. They develop whole organization of experts for each of the components which are needed. I have great admiration for tech business incubators. Okay. And they are doing a lot of good work. And most of the business incubator interest is being generated because of their success stories. So I'm very happy you asked me that question.
Now, or in other words, Professor Saran, can we say that the difference between a tech business incubator and the business incubator is where the business incubators are mainly depending on the technology, like you have given the healthcare example, can be defense, can be space, where the entrepreneur has to require lots of depends on the technology. So that is the main difference between a business incubator and the tech business incubator. What do you say about it?
Yes, more or less that is what the picture is there.
Okay.
Only thing is, if I go for tech business incubation, then the character of my organization, the people I bring in, the expertise which I bring in, the verticals I focus on is, trillion-dollar business. So I have to define very carefully what I will do and what I will not. Because for each one of them, only MS level specialization for doctor is not adequate. Super and super specialty level are required. So that calling has to be made.
Like we have seen recently that Amazon owner or the Musk, this Tesla owner, they have gone to the space and they are developing the space tourism. Now it's in a starting stage. Still, it will take some time. Do you think that category requires a tech business incubator, because you are depending only on technology, how to take the human to the moon or to the outer space successfully and bringing them back? So can you just say that this type of things require tech business incubator? The ordinary business incubator will not work in this.
To best answer your question, let us look at a lady in fertile age band. Every month, an egg is matured in her body and sent to the uterus for further processing. If it is fertilized, then one outcome, pregnancy. And if it is not fertilized, then menstrual period happens and it is discarded. When we are talking about Amazon or we are talking about Tesla, let us remember they are like that lady. Every month they are shedding an egg, so to say, which has the potential to become a complete individual. So these are like mother organizations, mother things, mother forces, out of which startups and many of them can take birth. Those which are becoming the fertilized eggs from these mothers are like that which go to incubators. This is the reason why Amazon itself has one incubator certification or recognition system, AWS, Amazon Web Service. And that itself has a large number of incubators developing a specialization under the tech business incubators category to build. And already hundreds of them, Mr. Goel, have been built. They have become multi-billion-dollar successful startup. Remember one thing at this point in time, the only difference between a normal traditional business and the modern tech business is the rate of growth in the first 3 to 7 years. First 3 years for both of them has hardly any difference. Same challenges are there. we specialize as Sharan Consulting in that part of it so that they can diversify later into second level of incubators. These second level are now being nurtured due to competition. You said attractiveness. So Amazon wants more and more people to be working on AWS platform. Some incubators build allegiance to those, build competency with them. They build a system mutual give and take with Amazon and their incubator, and they provide expert services. This is just one example of one vertical. Like this, there are many of them. And this is where the excitement and complexity of the business incubator under the subcategory tech business incubation is there. Very fascinating story. One thought leadership program is not enough. We will need a few more dedicated to these ones if time permits us later in life.
You have mentioned about Dr. Sharan Consultancy several times. Now, my question to you is, what is the basic difference between a consultancy? Because the consultant also give all inputs to an entrepreneur. As you have mentioned earlier, that the advertiser gives the input, the research, the brand making, the research of the product, the market research, and the launch of the product, etc., etc. So what is the basic difference between a consultancy, which are existing, consultants are already there in the market, and the business incubator? Is there any difference, or it's almost the same, only the nomenclature is changed?
This is very important question. Does not mean it is not a difficult question. It is a difficult question. But the way our discussion has developed today, it is relatively simple for me to answer. If it is MBBS level medical expertise, it is a consultancy. Now, in 1950s, a gentleman observed in his job as an engineer in a factory that every time the production increased from 100 units to 200 units, from 200 to 400 units, something very certain happened in the employment level. They found 20% less labor was needed when we reached the 200 level. If we needed 50 people to make 100, then we did not need 100 to make 200. We needed 80 only. Then when we went from 200 to 400, we did not need 160. We needed 16 less. So this one he called learning curve. Okay, Mr. Goel? He called it learning curve. When he made this real world observation, he got the seed to become a consultancy. And this is how today the world's top 4 consulting company was created in 1950s. So once you get looking from 84 onwards, Dr. Sharan Consulting came upon certain insights of this order that can improve business success story. So then a consultancy is. Now next level comes master surgery. So we decided to specialize in angel investing, because very early stage is where either wealth creation possibility is created and captured, or it is lost forever. Either it is a successful fetus formation or it is an abortion. I hope you understand this one. Forgive my excitement in the voice. That's the birth of Sharan Angel Investing Advisory. So within consulting, there is advisory. And we said we will not stop because we are being very selective. So we have friends who are willing to invest. So we provide 3 layers of service, which nobody else provides at the same level of quality. This is what our connection. We wanted to be the top of the line, and others can equal us. We are not boasting. We have tested it. Our results are speaking for themselves.
Okay. Now, what are the pros and cons of business incubators?
Oh my God. if a pregnant lady is properly taken care of, the pros happen. If there are abuses happening, then the cons happen. If the mother does not take care of herself, it is like the business incubator not taking of itself. And if the other people ecosystem are harsh, like there is too much of physical work for the pregnant mother in the family, there is no domestic help or something for one reason or the other, then that is societal systemic. So some of the pros and cons are at the organization level, and some of them are at the systems level. Together, all the pros and cons are made. Having made this general statement, the first pro of a business incubation relationship is you gain the confidence of having another organization which believes in you. That goes a long way. Only a pregnant lady knows how much of emotional upheaval happens in the first trimester. You and I are males, we may not know it, but then we are intelligent males, so we kind of read it correctly. Then the second pro is somebody who has cared for pregnant women knows exactly what kind of challenges will come before they come. So the second benefit to a founder from having an incubator relationship is learning before it is too late. The third most important pro of the relationship is, see, the mutual interest in successful acceleration of the growth. So incubator will keep on focusing on the growth factors, whereas a founder may sometimes get tired of the hard work, sometimes may become too tired, may want to give up. So that risk is eliminated with this relationship. With respect to the cons side, the biggest one is the moral side. If the incubator has such a relationship that they want to make only financial gain and get out, then they will only tell you a limited things of having a pre-IPO value maximization things. You will not discover this is what they are doing, but they will be doing this one. But you will discover this one once the damage is done. So be very diligent, be very prudent in relationship formation. These people will be known for doing this one, famous for this one. Unless you want the same thing, then this cons is quite widely prevalent. And be careful that unless you want to sub-optimize your potential, suppose you could make 30 crore from your business venture in garments. I am the other kind of cons type organization. I say that let us make 15 crores in 4 years. Why wait for 7 years for 30? So those ones will be there. So you will get only 15 crore part of it and exit. It is not a bad deal. They have done everything proper. But morally, this is where I say, if a baby could become a Olympic runner, and if I end the career at a state level running trophy, somewhere morally I'm responsible. I know it as an incubator. World may not know it. These are the subtle things, Mr. Goel, and I'm very happy you asked this question. These are the missed points. Nobody will discuss this because they haven't captured this. They haven't seen this. But it is possible. It is, I know this because as a professor, I know. Many times I get a student and I only teach them the subject, nothing beyond the subject. But that's it. Honestly, I have done my job. Building the soft skills was extra. I did not have time or something else.
Okay. Now, we have seen, because the entrepreneur who is coming or the startup which is coming to a business incubator, He is coming to develop the idea and see that it should become a reality. But what is the important role the brand value of the business incubator plays? Like business, as you have mentioned about the Amazon, they have the incubators. Now, their brand value is very strong. And a small company which is which has become a business incubator. So, according to you, is there any difference for a startup to go to a brand value like Amazon or to a small in business incubator? Any of these, will it plays an important role for that startup or not?
Uh, uh, there is one risk here when I take your question, and that is a choice being between a small business incubator and a big, well-known brand. In the universe of business incubation, size is least important, Mr. Goel. It is important, but least important. Reason being, these are all what we call disruptions. A startup is a disruptor. There is a very large multinational kind of company which has a set market, and then I notice a flaw there or a gap there. Either way, I find a solution to the challenge, and I am the startup. This is it. It does not matter whether I go to a small one or a large one, because even the large fellow, Amazon kind, which you mentioned, was a small one some time back, until it found a disruptor to leverage, and both became big together. So that is what happens. What is a small founder today and what is a small incubator today? We are a small today, but then the moment we find one symbiotic entity, it will become large. Having said this one, it is the most important vertical in which you have the growth potential. It rides on a concept called product market fit. If you are a founder, my advice to you is seek that business incubator which understands the dynamics of product market fit of your specific domain. I may have written a beautiful book and it might have sold 1 million copies on product market fit. But every case of product market fit is like every marriage. The honeymoon begins and honeymoon sets how the rest of the marital bliss will be. Something like this is very important in the process of relationship forming. This is what I'll emphasize.
So according to you, whether it's a big or a small, it makes hardly any difference. One has to see which suits them in many ways, including the payment, because big might be charging more, the small will be charging less, and one has to see. Okay, now my next question is, what lessons can a business incubator learn from biological incubation?
Beautiful question. Hats off to you for asking me. This is perhaps going to be the most important thing. Let me begin like this. Biological incubator. See, the 1880 incubator which I mentioned, a conscientious doctor was troubled by infant mortality happening. In 1880, how much did we have? Very little. So all he did is design a glass kind of a entity in which the baby will be put, and in a tray, hot water will be put to keep it warm. And with this simple trapping, he was able to reduce the infant mortality rate. Today, we have very sophisticated incubators for babies. They have much higher success rate. A lot of parameters are being monitored and controlled. So the first thing that we learn is, as a business incubator, begin by saving the infants who otherwise would have died. That's the first thing. Second thing that we learn is sophistication. The sophistication thing, as I mentioned, we can learn from the second type of incubators, the poultry incubators. The mother, I studied biology, so I'll speak terms, I will be familiar, but all my viewers will not be there. So let me use the general English language here. The egg from the mother and the sperm from the father have different lives. The egg, after being moved from the ovary when it is mature through the fallopian tube to the uterus, will live for only 1 day. The sperm from father will live for 6 days. Fertilization can happen only in this window. So therefore, if there is a startup here and an incubator here, they have to meet at certain particular stage only for best result. Earlier, the better. The time when the egg is maturing, if the fertilization through the sperm reception happens, that is the best time. So this is the second lesson. The third lesson is, how do you judge whether the egg is fertile or infertile? So the moment the egg is fertilized in the hen, the egg and sperm together are very tiny, cannot be seen by naked eye. But then the egg multiplies into 2. Mark my words. The fertilized egg multiplies into 2, then it pauses. It grows till it is mature 2 eggs. Those 2 mature eggs multiply. It pauses second time till they become 4 grown ones. The 4 multiply. It pauses. Mark my words. By the time the hen lays the egg, if I break the egg, on top of the yellow yolk part, I'll see a white round disc, hardly visible like a drop, but disc shape around it will be there. Similarly, in today's world, all of the best eggs need the best of the fertilization equipment. You know, the best girl should be married to the best boy to have the best family following from there. So this is why the third lesson is there is a match of the right type between the founder and the incubators. The fourth learning is very vital, Mr. Goel, and that is the moment the egg moves to the incubator, 4 things have to be controlled. Temperature has to be controlled. Dynamics, I already mentioned. Humidity has to be controlled. Why? Because if humidity is wrong on the 18th day, the chick will stick to the shell, and when it hatches, it will be crippled. So for 18 days of incubation, you did everything right. On 19th day or 20th day or 21st day, you missed on this humidity and you killed it. So the third is in the founder-incubator relationship, what we learn from the biological incubators is every day is critical, never relax. And many more like this. Time is short, but I'll stop here.
Okay, thank you. Now, my question to you is, it's a twofold question. One is, an existing businessman, can he go for a business incubator when he is already an existing businessman? And the second is, the second generation entrepreneur, will also be going to be beneficial by the business incubator. So first is when existing business fellow wants to go for a business incubator, whether it will be beneficial, or the second is the second generation would like to go for business incubator. Time is short, so I am sure that you will reply in that time.
The existing business person is operating either in a very stable economic environment or a very fluid economic environment. For example, cement or a steel is in a very stable economic environment, but textiles, fashions change, so it's a fluid one. So if they are in the stable one, incubation will not be optimally beneficial. But if they are in this one, then they have a scope for a productive relationship. So that is the first part of my answer to your question. I hope it is of some insight. The second generation business person has to decide how ambitious are they. If they want to grow at the same rate the family business was growing, then Mr. Goel, they don't need the incubator as badly as they will if they want to dramatically change the growth rate of the first generation. So then if they want to grow like, mad, incubation will help them. This is my answer.
Okay. To summarize everything, the last word I want from you, that according to you, the startup should join the business incubator. You also said that if your existing business is fluid, one can go for a business incubator. And that leaves says the second entrepreneur is highly ambitious, or he wants to turn around to do something innovative, he should also go for a business incubator. So according to you, a business incubator is beneficial in the present scenario, and one has to take a bit cautious what type of thing, which you have explained very nicely in all our things. Any last message, any message which you would like to give to our startup founders or the entrepreneurs in this context?
I was talking to you as per my habit to Mrs. Sharan today morning, India morning, and we were just going, and she asked exactly the thing, what will you end if you are given a choice? Thank God you have given me a choice. So I told her what I will tell them is every pregnant lady at full term has a choice. She can join a hospital for delivery or she opt for home delivery. If she has a choice of professional delivery service in a hospital, she should not think twice, avail of that one. But if God has shut that option, then and only then settle for this one. So if you have a competent business incubator whose pros are in your favor, please join, don't think twice. But if that is not there, then take a call. Thank you, Mr. Goel.
Thank you very much, Professor Saran, for giving my straight answers to my straight questions. And viewers, we have seen today how in this thought leadership series, our endeavor is to enlighten you with some very, very important topics or important subjects which are happening now. And we are trying to be the thought leader. And we know that Professor Saran is in such a category now that he can speak very, very authentically, give the correct picture of any topic which is concerned with the business, which he has done in our earlier episodes also and today also. And I'm sure that today's program is quite enlightening, and especially to those entrepreneurs, either who are planning to start up some business or already existing businessman or a family businessman, any businessman, if you are interested to change your business model, if you want to grow or you want to come out with innovative ideas, it's better to take the help of a business incubator because they have expertise. They are dealing with so many other startups. So they know what is the market condition. They have the research base, they have the data, which as an individual, it is not that easy to get those data. So as Professor Saran explained, and he has given the example of a pregnant woman. So one has to choose, if you really want a professional service, choose a good business incubator so that your business can flourish in future. So thank you very much. And today's program has been live telecasted by B4 News, Caru News, B4 Stream, Malnadu TV India, Newsgaon se Samvad Sarokar News, Bharat Post News, Gyan, as well as was shown live on Facebook and YouTube. And our endeavor is to bring to you all these types of topics which are very relevant today. And in case if you feel to suggest any topic which we are missing, although we are trying to bring those topics, you can very well send us, put up in the any of the media partners inbox, so that we will come to know what topic you want. And if you like the program, please comment, please subscribe, please share, so that others can be benefited. Those who have already seen or watching our show live, very good. But those who have not, please share with them so that at least they can be beneficial. Thank you very much, all the viewers. Thank you very much, Professor Saran, for giving your time and expertise. And I'm sure today's program is very, very enlightening, as